Hello and welcome to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, with another awesome episode with another super dope person. Today, I have my wonderful friend, sister, cousin, everything. She's family. We were just talking about it. Like, how are we going to introduce ourselves? We're going to say we're family. But my girl, Jamie, Alexandria. Jamie, welcome to Let's Glow Show.
Thanks for having me here.
Yes. Tell everybody, tell me all about you. Who are you? What you do?
Well, I am essentially I would say a coach right now, and then I'm rebranding myself in terms of what social media means, and I help Amanda with her overall social presence, and so that's essentially what I've been doing and developing over the past few years.
I love it. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You keep me sane. And I've been telling people I'm working with a social media coach, and they always look at me and they're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And I'm like, I feel like I don't know if you do this with other clients, but with me, I feel like we're learning our dance and
hmm
we're figuring out what works for us. And you really helped me get over my social media anxiety, like the overthinking part. And I don't know, talk a little bit about what that's like to just work with someone on their social media presence and coaching and what that really means.
So I've worked with people who have services and as well as products that they sell and they're developing their brands for. When it comes to actually posting and being, online, people just tend to gravitate towards thinking they need to have like a strict regimen of how they produce whatever content they're going to put out. But it's not really like that. Like people do want to see like what's behind the scenes and what you're actually working on because that provide some sort of, relatability. And people tend to, you know, kind of like steer away from like the ugly and the nitty gritty stuff. But people actually do want to see that. And what we've seen over the past couple of years, especially with like TikTok, people want to know everything. And
Mhm.
if you're
And
showing them
honesty.
from if you're showing them from the beginning to the end of like how a product or service came into development or how you developed as a person through whatever you're working on, that tends to do really well.
Yeah. And I struggle with that. I feel like my generation, I don't know, like not technically elder millennial, but definitely like up there. I feel like with we grew up with the first version of Instagram, with MySpace, all of that stuff, and everything was super curated. And so we have this like mantra or this like way of thinking about social media being like hyper curated, perfect, and all of that stuff. And I am super guilty of that. And I don't know, like, I don't know, how do you manage dealing with that mentality, like with me or with other clients? Cause it's deep. It's like in our roots. We're like, it needs to be perfect. I need to like edit it 80 million times. And then we see young folks and they just like post whenever and they're getting all of these views. And I see it too, like the posts that I don't care as much about, like get more engagement than ones that I spend hours working on. So like, how do you get it through our thick skull?
I just put it in the approach of, if you're doing like with you, like we do, like you're doing something anyways. So might as
Right.
well take out your camera and record it. I like to do when it comes to like brands and sometimes services, like we do content days and then we just work over that. And it's just like overall figuring out what you want to say, like who are you targeting really? Because a lot of
Right.
people don't think about it. And then it also comes with an investment, honestly. Like a lot of people do not want to spend money on what social media is, but they don't see the real value that it has.
Right.
And that's something I'd be taking out of pocket, like really, because if you're working with somebody who knows what's going on in the scene, knows what's trending, but not everything that's trending is also going to serve you. So that's like take discretion with that. It's just knowing that if you don't post, then nothing's gonna happen. So
Right.
it's either you do it or not. And I believe it's more so not so much so quality, but like a quantity with consistency type thing.
Ooh, I
So
like
it's kind of
that.
it's not like everything needs to be, oh my God, so aesthetic and
Right.
whatnot. it has to be something of whatever you see value at that moment. And if it's gonna be on online, just make it so it's online. And then,
Right.
you can work from there. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you can work from whatever you already have.
I've seen that, you know, in the past I would post and we worked together a couple times. So like when I was doing the pageant stuff, we worked together and then I took a break from social media. I took a long break from social media and I was like, I'm ready to come back, but I've kind of put myself on the other side of the spectrum where I was like so deep invested into it, then not invested at all, and I didn't give a fuck. I was like, get rid of it, get it out of my life. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. Back to like, I want to start creating programming again. I want to start bringing people together again, and I need to use social media as a tool. And I feel like something that you've taught me is like, be consistent. Not every post is gonna like hit like thousands of likes or whatever. But I've noticed that the ones that get less likes, I get more like personal engagement where like either somebody individually will follow me and then DM me or message me. Like one of the posts that did really badly, I'm gonna change my vocabulary. One of the
Just
posts
like,
that didn't get as many, like, visual likes, like, somebody signed up for the So Cute craft night and paid and donated money to the cause that we were raising money for, that saw that post, like, one of, like, 30 people, instead of, like, 300, and I'm like, "This is so valuable. This is
yeah,
so valuable." Even though in my head, I was like, "Oh my god, it's not getting likes. Oh my god, it's not getting likes. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?" And I was like, "Wait, it's gonna be like ebbs and flows, but I don't think I could mentally process that without you.
thank you. No, but I feel like exactly like what you're saying. Like if you don't post, somebody is not going to see it. And it doesn't always share to the same people either.
Right.
Like you really don't know who you're getting. It just tells you numbers. Like what can you get from numbers? Like you're not going to know individually who's there until they interact with you. And then you're really
Mhm.
good at engaging with everyone in your posts. And that's another thing people don't do. Like they don't even go through their stuff or like, their comments and actually like respond to each person individually. And you tend to do that with
Yeah.
detail and with a lot of words that are not generic. So that's
Yeah.
why your engagement is high. So
I'm
it's
trying. Somebody said it to me. One of my girlfriends who she'll tell you, she's like, every social media I've ever had, Amanda made for me because she won't do it, but she's a real estate agent. Love her to death. So, but now she's like in a world where she needs to build her social media for her business. And so she went to a conference, which I'm actually going to go to this conference in a week, the Creator Con.
mm,
It's hosted by Robert Courtney. Robert Courtney, he's in the bamboo community.
mm,
Um, and he does like social media, video, all that stuff. But she went to one of his conferences and he said, somebody asked a question like, would you respond to all the comments on your post? And he goes, would you not respond to an email or phone call? And she was like, it clicked. I was like, oh
there you
shit,
go.
that's
Exactly.
real. That's real.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of it that way. But okay. So for those of us that I have a lot of friends that are like, I get it, social media, it works for my business. It helps me in this way. And then I have like people on this like polar opposite side. They're like, I don't do any social media marketing. I don't understand it. I don't believe in it. What's your case for social media marketing and like why do you think it's valuable and why did you choose this industry?
So I really just saw from the beginning, like I took a course as well. Like I was outside looking for information. Essentially, when I got out of college, I was looking for something to do, just to generate income. To be honest, it's been like an on and off too, because I've also taken breaks from social media. And right now, like I'm kind of going through like a rebranding of like who I want to help and work with, because there's a lot of people who would like social media services but don't know how to invest in it. So if they're starting from the get go, I would say figure out how you can post at least maybe once or twice on a weekly basis. Like start small.
Yeah.
We tend to get very overwhelmed with the idea of social media and how it's supposed to look. Oh, nobody liked this or whatnot. But if you're looking at what other successful individuals have done in whatever industry you're in, you can mimic that. I didn't say copy it, mimic it
Right.
in your own way and you show who you are through those posts because they're also getting a lot of engagement, have a lot of followers, or you know, are known within that industry because they have put themselves in an uncomfortable position, which you will have to do as well. So like that's essentially it. And I'm gonna be sharing like more tips on like my page on Instagram as well, and like how to just like start just with branding, because everything's a brand. That's the essence of everything.
Right.
And then you go and you break it down into different categories of how to like set up a strategy, how to just figure out what you're trying to sell or whatever service that you have. But when it comes to just setting yourself up, I would say like start with Instagram and make sure that you have a website or something that people can contact you. Because you don't need to
Yeah.
have everything like laid out immediately. And that's something that you can develop over time. And that's what
Yeah.
tends to keep people from doing anything.
I see it that goes with social media, building a brand, starting a business, a passion project, anything like you look at the people that are doing something similar and they're so successful or things are going super, super well. And you're like, oh, well, I'm starting here. And I think you said it really well that like it comes with consistency and over time. Like maybe your first post doesn't get as many likes because you don't have as many people following your brand. But
Mhm.
as you start doing pop up shops or doing interviews on people's podcasts or going to networking events, people start gravitating towards your brand. And I've noticed this too, like more recently, people will just go through my whole social media and they're looking at all of it. Even the stuff
Mhm.
that, the old stuff that like I overthought or was thinking badly about. And I'm like, oh, well, now, like compared to where this particular marketing post was 6 months ago, it's doing a lot better now than it was
Mhm.
then or for
True.
whatever, but it's all of that over time. Same thing with this video cast that we're doing right now. Like I have been thinking about this starting and stopping, starting and stopping. We've done an interview before, like so many times, but I keep coming back to it. And I'm like, the thing that I think I'm learning is just stay consistent, just keep going. Like the last episode with Angela, we had to scrap that, unfortunately, because the audio was so bad. And then we sat down and we learned that headphones help, headphones help. But the thing I was trying really hard not to do was be like, this is awful, fuck it, scrap it. I'm gonna quit again.
Mhm.
And I just couldn't. I couldn't. You wouldn't let me do it.
No.
Even if I told you, I didn't tell you, but I almost told you. I was almost like, Jane, we
I
should
know
just
you were
scrap the
feeling
show.
it, but you're doing it,
No.
and that's what
Okay.
counts. Like, it's the actual act of doing the thing, and that comes with every single thing in life. Like,
Yeah.
once you start doing something and then you kind of see the little rewards along the way, and that's the things that you need to look for to keep you, like, going.
It's the tiny achievements instead of the
Mhm.
big achievements. And I'm I'm a very ambitious person, goal oriented, but I try really hard not to look at too big of a goal or too many goals. And I'm just like, what do I need to do next? What is the next thing I need to accomplish? With this big vision at the end, kind of looking towards it being my North Star and letting life and the regular things kind of guide the next decisions. And then hiring people like you who are experts in your field that I can't do. I think that's huge. And I want to talk about it a little bit because you had mentioned like people don't know how to pay for social media. It's an
Mhm.
industry. People are going to school for it. It's like there's a reason why companies have a whole social media department, but a lot of small businesses don't look at it that way. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you think is the right time for a person or a brand or a company to start hiring someone? Why would you hire someone? Like, how can you make a good business case for it? Because some people are like, I'll just have my daughter do it. I'll
I
just
love
have
that
my cousin do
analogy.
it.
I love that analogy that, like, with the comments, you said that he told her, "Are you not going to respond to each individual person? Don't you have bills that you have to pay anyways? This is an expense, obviously. If you want a professional to come in and fix your plumbing, you're going to pay a professional. You're not going to do it yourself. So when it comes to like starting from scratch and not knowing where to start, I would say see what see what your customers want, first of all. Who's your
Yeah.
clientele? Are they actually telling you, "Oh, do you have a website? Oh, where can I follow you?" Like, people are looking to do that.
Let's take a brief coffee break, and I'm gonna go find some headphones. Just a second. Welcome back from our technical difficulty. Hilarious. We love it. Gotta stay smiling, laughing, problem solving. We came up with a great solution. Thank goodness that the person I was interviewing was my social media coach. Check me. Because without you, I might have sweated all my makeup off and cried a little bit. But we're
It's
here.
okay. Technicalities happen all the time.
Yes. And now we're not going to go live anymore. We're just going to do it pre recorded. So if you're watching this, like, there was a time before this in the era for the Let's Go show. But now we find our light. We're going to be pre recording and it's going to be great. Awesome. So you were getting on a groove and I was loving what you're saying. So let's get back to that. Um, why would somebody, company, brand, person, individual, whatever the case may be, pay for social media and like, how can we discern we're finding the right fit for us?
Um, I kind of lost my groove, but
I have backup plans.
where and what I was getting at is, you outsource things anyways when it comes to business. And so if you're looking to get yourself a digital, you know, somebody that handles whatever you're putting online, there's people that don't even have their Google updated, their Google My Business, and I'm just like, can we get your actual hours? Like, I wouldn't want to go, and then you're not open. So it's kind of like doing that and knowing what your customer needs and is actually expecting from you. So like, if they're asking you, "Oh, what's your website? Oh, do you have like a handle that I can follow you at? Like, what do you use? How can I leave a review?" And many people don't have that, and they're not leveraging what is so easily accessible to them. And when you're looking to invest in a person that, you know, is going to help you develop beyond what you have as a storefront, there's so much potential there and so much money you're leaving on the table as well. And there needs to be something that people with their business come to realize that it's not going backwards, it's only going forwards and quicker.
Right.
So
Right.
if you're looking to outsource that, you need to find somebody who's willing to work within your budget. But we know that, there is expenses that sometimes certain businesses can't meet, but it's an investment. It's an investment into what you already have and what it could potentially can become. So
Mhm.
in that sense, like people do need to at least update their Google My Business. Like,
Well, and I think like because it's so easily accessible, people feel like they don't need to make the investment in it. But it is strategic and it's hard and it moves really, really fast and it's a full-time job. Like that's why people do it as a full-time job. I've been saying that for a while. Like I'm making the investment in you to help me with my social because I need to spend more time building my business and the products and the projects that I actually want to pursue. But I do want social media to be a part of that experience. Because it always has been for me. But like you were saying, like it's not going anywhere. And I was thinking about it the other day, like I know a lot of businesses that don't really use social media a lot. They're doing a lot of great business, which I think is totally possible. But if your audience is on social media, or if every single time somebody walks into your shop and is asking, what's your website? Do you sell stuff online? Like, do you do like online this, online that? Part of the reason why I'm bringing the Let's Glow show to the table is because a lot of times people will ask me, like, do you have a podcast? Do you have a show? Do you have this? Do you have that? I'm like, no, I want one. No, I'm thinking about it. And they're telling me, "You should have a podcast. You should have a video show. You should do a thing." And I'm like, "It is in alignment, and this is what I'm hearing from people who I believe are in my audience, so now I'm delivering, even though we're going through some technical difficulties and learning and growing as we go." But that's part of glowing up. That is part of the experience of, like, learning and building something. Um, but I agree. So how do okay, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that say they're social media strategists or brand advisors or social media marketing managers. Like, how do you pick the right one? Like, we are lucky because we knew each other and we vibe and we click and you get me and you know how to talk me off of a ledge. But like, as some like pretend we were strangers, like, how would I know what kind of questions should I be asking?
When it comes to that, yes, there's a lot of different names for the same thing, but there's also a lot of generic templates that people have been given and are trying to leverage to the max with minimal effort for the actual business owner. Um,
Mm,
when it comes to that, the types of questions that you should be asking is, are you a fixed rate or are you like an hourly person? Because depending on your budget, you can't always like maybe do a fixed rate.
right,
Sometimes you just want to pay somebody to come in for like 2 hours a week or something like that to like, start you off. And
right.
that's totally acceptable too. Like when it comes to seeing how they work, what type of clients have they worked with? Are they more like service or product based? Are they helping actual like e-commerce businesses or are they helping brick and mortar businesses? So how are you leveraging with those two? Um there there's so many questions, but when it comes to like just a strategy in general, like what is the goal for your business? And that's how you should be approaching whoever you think it could possibly help you. But asking questions like that first, like first of all, people want to get paid. Okay, not many people want to do charity work when it comes to especially social media and the fact that so many people are feeding delusion and promising going viral and you know there's just like a lot of bull out on the internet and just you need someone to paint the picture that it's going to take time, and that's always what I tell my clients. It's going to take time for you to see. It's not immediate. Like I've worked for like not for but with a um real estate broker. I used to work with them. Um, they thrive on leads and they wanted to do that. They wanted to do that organically. That doesn't happen organically. Okay.
Not like
Um,
hunting needs organically. It
no,
gets
yeah.
yeah.
And so like eventually I started work or partnered with a person to do like advertising for them as well. So they were doing like Facebook advertising as well as I think they were just doing Facebook advertising. But when it comes to advertising that way, you also need to leverage like Google as well. But they only did it for like 3 months. That's
Yeah.
not going to give you all the results you need. You need to do that for a good 6 to 12 months to see
Yeah.
what is actually your targeted audience. Like there is just some analytics that need to be extended over a period of time for you to actually know who the heck is coming to you and
Mhm.
who are like I think they told me, oh, one time that they had like somebody reach out because they saw like a something. And I was like, that's great. That can be multiplied if you continue doing it. But if you're
Right.
not, it's not gonna happen. Like
Right.
so it's just understanding who they've worked with before, like just see what type of portfolio and the work that they've done. And if that aligns with what you want to see. And you'll be able to just to get a overall understanding that, you know, it's not fast, but it's necessary.
Right.
Like it's it's not easy, but it's simple.
Yes, yes. I love that. I feel like you have to date people first. It's an interview process. It's an interview process. Like, you're not gonna jump into the bed. You might, but you're not gonna jump into the bed with the first person that you talk to,
You're
like,
right.
and then also expect them to know exactly what you want. It's gonna take time to build that trust and relationship and be able to communicate your feelings, especially if you're coming from a different world,
Right.
whether you let's say you have like a construction company or a plumbing company and you do want to add social media elements. I have some friends that are social media managers that are working for or companies that are like that just thrive off of referrals and never needed social media but want it now. they don't know the language, they don't know how to ask for what they want, they don't know how to describe what they want. So sitting down with people and doing those consultations are so, so important. Doing the research. I'm gonna admit I'm bad at researching, but I'm really good at like sitting down with someone, talking to them, feeling the intuition. Do I want to work with this person? Do I want to work through my challenges with this person? Do I
You
feel like
know,
they
like
understand
trust.
my vision, the trust? And trust doesn't happen right away. Trust happens over time. Same thing with an audience seeing your brand. It happens over time. And I totally get that. And I'm like, there's the other part of me that's like, do we have to do it? Because 6 months ago, I was like, I'm gonna do everything off the grid. Let's see if it works. And it does. It does. Like I was throwing parties like at my house, having 50, 60 people show up and texting them the night before. And we saw the possibility of being off the grid but we also needed to build community. So the fact that we've been building community for so long and we have this Rolodex of people that we can lean on and trust and work with and work for, like we have that kind of nest egg. But if you're starting from 0, it's a lot harder to do it from nothing and just jumping into it. But I do think that there's things that are possible, and I do think it's kind of fun to do stuff like, "Oh, we're doing a secret party, it's not on social." We're gonna hang, it's gonna be good people, but, like, longevity of that is really hard. It's hard on our community, it's hard on me. I have to do individual text messages, which I do think is part of the strategy, especially if you're in event planning, like, yes, make the posts, yes, have the brand strategy, yes, have the marketing and social media prepared and ready to go with a vision for what you want on the other end, but there's nothing that beats me picking up the phone and calling you Jamie and saying, "I would love for you to come to this event that I'm hosting." Nothing tops that. Nothing tops that in my opinion.
The individuality, people feel important
Right. But I
when
think
you
that
invite them.
exactly, or sending them a personal DM and not just, like, mass dumping a bunch of DMs to people without any personalization. I feel like
Right.
that's like coming to their house, like, and soliciting
Yeah.
versus, "Hey, person that I have a relationship with, Jay, how are you? How are you doing? I was thinking about you. I'm planning to host this event. I would really love for you to be there."
Mhm.
Instead of just dump posting and DMing a whole bunch of people, because I'm seeing that happening now, and I am trying to figure out what rubs me the wrong way about that, because I do see that they're trying, but I'm like, to what angle? Do you just want people there or do you want me there?
Mhm.
There's a difference. And so just thinking about the personalization of everything, like, and just making it personal when it comes to those invites. I say it all the time with our brand ambassadors for the revamp, like, I want you to invite your 10 friends. Like, that's your responsibility. That's what we're trading for the services. Like, you invite your 10 friends and don't just shit post them, call them, invite them, ask them to come because you want them there, not because you want people there. Big
Right.
difference. But yeah, social media it's hard for me. It's been really, really hard for me to, like, get it out of my head, and I wanna talk a little bit about the coaching that you do because I feel like it's something very special that I don't see. So, why do you consider yourself a coach versus, like, any of the other words that come with social media manager, brand XYZ, all of those words that I don't know off the top of my head. But why do you consider yourself a coach? What does that mean? And what does that do for your client?
I feel like a coach brings out the best of a player. Doesn't don't they? So like you already have what you need. I just want you to be more highlighted in that sense. So we're posting on social media highlight reels, like what's going on in your life, what you're working with, like what are you doing? And when it comes to that, like I always ask you, so what's going on, What's
Ex
going on and what can we leverage to make you look how you want to look based on your brand and what you're trying to do, what's your goal? I feel
Yeah,
like just having a conversation. When it comes to coaching, you're just highlighting the strengths of the person and just leveraging that for your social. That's why I feel like that's what a coach is supposed to do. Make your players, even better. So That's where we are. That's why I consider myself a coach in that sense. Like I can I love encouraging people and hyping them up. Like especially when it's due, like let's
Yeah.
get you let's get you out there. But you are like Amanda's already doing great. It's just I'm just helping her organize it a little bit. That's
A lot,
essentially what I'm doing.
a lot,
Oh,
a lot. So, like, I think from my perspective, and I want to talk a little bit about like personal brands and like individuals, but like for me, I get a lot of like anxiety about like, is it the right post? Is it the right thing? Is it the right time? Is it the right copy? Is it the right content? Are people gonna like it? Like I get stuck in that like perfectionism. And we meet once a week and we sit down and you say that same thing. What's going on? How are you doing? What are you working on? And they're like, okay, we're gonna do it this, because it's already done. Content is already happening. And for those of you that are building personal brands, you're probably already doing the work. And for me, I'm just like, well, I need to be humble. I don't want to like post too much. I don't want to like show too much behind the scenes because is it braggadocious? Is it like, who am I? And I keep asking myself that question. And I'm like, oh, I'm Amanda fucking Sweet. That's my, I'm me. I can do this. Like, because I can, because I have all of this equipment, all of this community that I'm investing in them so I can invest in myself. But you help me so much. You talk me off like every week. I'm like, I'm just not gonna post. Gonna not just gonna not do it. And you're just like, let's what do you need to do? What are the deadlines for these things? What do you have done already? And you just bring all of this, you're like, you just keep me calm and cool and collected and make it feel like it's not such a big beast versus like just something tangible that we have to do. It's part of the to-do list. It's not the whole to-do list, which sometimes I make like, oh, it's the only thing I have to do right now. It's like, no, you need to post it in 5 seconds because it's already done. Get it out there and then get back to work. I struggle with that.
and
But as an individual who's like doing, because I don't look at myself as like a personal brand, but also that's exactly what we're doing. And I don't really know what that means. Like, in my mind, I don't know what that means, and I'm kinda curious what you like, what makes a personal brand? When should people do it? What styles should they go after?
I feel like that's a very intense question because
And
so many people can have a different perspective on what a personal brand is, but people know you, you know, people know you, and then they know what you're working on. In your case, like you're Amanda Sweet, people know you. People know that you put on events. People know that you do the revamp. People know that you are doing things,
mhm,
but you are the person that they're gravitating to. You don't have a specific like right now, it's like you're developing it, but you don't
yeah,
have a specific business that people know the name of. So that's why it's you and you're the personal brand. So that's how I see it. So when it comes to like personal branding and who people are, people know the name first
mhm,
of the individual. And then, it's kind of like, people know who Emma Chamberlain is, like because she's that person. But then they know that she has coffee. Then they know that she does interviews or whatever. Like
mm,
they kind of, you know, they know her from YouTube or whatever. And then when it comes to a brand, like people know Apple, people know whatever. So it's understanding the person rather than a business because it's always kind of like a person versus a business.
right. I feel like they do go together, like, it's like it kinda gives the people the opportunity to come from any angle.
Mhm.
I did meet a lot of people through the revamp who found the revamp first and then met me later, which was great. And
Mhm.
I love either direction, or people knew me and wanted to participate in the revamp because I started hosting it. But as an individual who's building a personal brand, what advice do you have for them to like stay level headed or any of the things? What advice do you have for people that are starting off and at the beginning of their journey?
I would say literally write down a list of everything that you are and what are you working on. And see what you can share from each individual aspect on a weekly basis of each thing. So like with you, you're doing the silk craft nights, the so cute craft night. And like you're also working on bringing back the revamp and doing those things. As well as the book, guys. She's working on a book. And it just overall, like there is so many things that you can just leverage on a small scale. It doesn't need to be big. Um,
Yeah.
just share a thought on that one thing. Um, post a photo of yourself, tell a little story. Doesn't need to be a whole novel, but
Yeah.
just let people know. Because people who are interested in you will read whatever you have to say.
Yeah.
So if you have and you can create a community and you're working on developing that personal brand, just just be you, but a little bit more strategically that you
Mhm.
can share exactly what projects that you're working on a small scale. Like
Yeah.
on a small scale.
I love the once a week because we were talking about that when we first started working together again the second time. So the first time I was like, we were go, go, go. I was also doing a lot of stuff and I was also helping another organization who wanted a lot of output. So we were like, we're going to post every day, a couple times a day. We were like aggressive. And for me, it was too much. And when we came back the second time, you were just like, once or twice a week. That's what we used to do, once or twice a week. We don't have to go head first into it. Now we're finding a rhythm where we're like, okay, a couple times a week, we have content from So Cute Craft That, we have content from the interview series. I have other things that I'm doing outside of those things that are building content. So it's like my phone is the memory is getting filled up anyway, you know? So it's like, okay, we'll push it out. Push it out, get it done. But it was a process. And I feel like it still is a process. Like every single week, I'm just like trying to shake off that like perfectionism out
Mhm.
of, but we're getting there and you're helping me. And I'm really, really grateful for you because I don't feel like we would be doing this if it wasn't for you. I don't feel like we wouldn't be doing a lot of the stuff. I probably would have like just burned my phone. I was ready to get it out. I don't want it anymore. Like we're giving up for it. But it's that you were like, you came back, you're like, you're already doing it. You're still doing it. You can't help yourself. Like, just post it.
Just a button.
A button is scary. Okay. The button
Yeah.
is scary.
I also want to mention, like, I know this is like something we also work through, like caring what other people think and not posting because of whatever is going on in the world. Like, things are always going to go on.
Yeah.
You should just be respectful on the way that you're approaching your thing. But, you know, the award ceremonies are still going on. Celebrities are still out here doing whatever they're doing, right? So, like,
Mhm.
you can go with that approach as well. Like,
Yeah.
just because things are going on, be respectful, but continuously, just say what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to be, worrying about other people's opinions, and that's something we all go through. Okay, we're always gonna care what other people think,
Yeah.
but understand that if you're in a space where you're respectful and you feel safe, like just continue to share whatever you need to share or want to share because it's your social media.
I appreciate that because I've been, really overthinking, not overthinking, but every time something happens in the world, I'm very like, should I stop posting? What should I do? What do I need to like? How do I need to show up in the world? And one of our good friends, Jacob, actually said something to me. He said something to a group, and we're at the coalition series for Black and Jewish unity, and we were doing a Passover Seder, and he was mentioning like not everybody's strong suit is communicating. Not everybody's strong suit is protesting. Not everybody's strong suit is community building. Not everybody's strong suit is art. So if your strong suit does not lie in the sphere of like protesting and or making comments and or build a community, then don't feel guilty that that's not what you're doing to execute. And I always have to come back to that. Like, what am I good at? I'm good at organizing people. I'm good at throwing events. I'm good at directing it towards a cause. And every time I feel like concerned about what people might think about what I'm posting or what I'm doing because something's happening in the world, I try to put a positive spin on it. I'm like, okay, if we're gonna come together, we're gonna give back. We're gonna party with a purpose. We're gonna put it on a sphere of things that I am good at and I can do and make impact where I am. Because that's always a big thing for me. I'm like, I tend to carry the weight of the world. I'm like, well, it's happening over there. So we need to do XYZ. But I think I have to remind myself, what is my strength? What am I good at? What am I? What can I do to impact my world right now? And it's continuing to talk and bring people together and focus on positivity and joy and light and bright and the things that we can do, not the things that we can't do. So I appreciate you for saying that because we've been going through that the last couple weeks, the last couple months. We've been talking about this. Like, what do we do?
Mhm.
What do I say? I'm not, I don't have enough knowledge. As I said, I'm not a researcher. I don't listen to the news. I don't watch the news.
Same girl.
I don't do
Same.
any of that stuff. I do need to know that we make an influence, and what is the influence that we can impact, and that's right here, you and me, the people joining us, the people hearing us, and that's it ripples. All of that ripples. And so you and one person doing one good thing is changing the world because you never know how many people that's gonna touch. So I appreciate you for saying that. And just like on a small scale too, like nobody really gives a fuck. Like I think a lot, I'm like, oh my God, people, who the fuck is people? Oh, like I get that. Said anything bad, criticized me, slid into my DMs and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, literally nobody. Like, I'll get nothing but positive feedback, which I'm very, very grateful for. I know not everybody's in that boat, but I feel like we are concerned that we might get negative feedback from this ominous people, but like the people is like in your head. And
It
people are
is.
caught up in their shit that they don't really care what you're doing. So just do what you want.
Please. Please just do what you want respectfully.
Which you want
But
respectfully. I love that.
because we that's why a lot of people just, you know, don't don't post because they're just like so in their head. I'm like, oh my God, this person's gonna think this or whatever, you know. But how did the major influencers and the people that have, made so much of a difference, like they literally don't care. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, he doesn't care. He just says what's on
Exactly.
his mind and he does it.
Care because they know what the vision is. And they know
Yes, they know where they're going.
that, like, I feel like we talked about this before the interview started, like the imposter syndrome. It's
Mm,
it's it's trying to make sure it's your survival voice, trying to make sure you don't die. Okay?
yeah,
Like, it's not a real like, it might be real, you might have had a real experience in the past,
it's just a
but
feeling.
it's a feeling, and you have to trust your intuition that that you're doing what's good for you,
Right.
and you have to do whatever the fuck you want respectfully, but, like, I love that. Say but, like, I feel like that voices the criticism to make sure you stay put and
Yeah.
stay safe. It's the same thing, like, don't touch the burning fire, it's like that coming from the same part of your brain, but posting on social media is not gonna do that
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things. Now, I know that there are some situations where there's some serious cyberbullying happening and stuff like that, and I don't wanna not acknowledge that, but on a case to case basis, like, if you're just posting about the shit that you're doing and you're posting respectfully, you're
Mhm.
doing whatever the fuck you want respectfully, you're minding your business, like, nobody's gonna what are they gonna say? And if they
What
say
can
something
they say? Well, somebody else is gonna come and attack them in the comments, so they're not
right,
doing anything.
are none of your they're not your responsibility, to be
Or you could
honest.
just delete the comment. Like,
Delete the comment. Delete the comment. Like, I had an experience
why?
where I had a previous manager, like, kinda going off in my comments
I remember you
because
told me about that.
I think she took the video that I posted the wrong way. I was talking about how to network, and I was talking about communicating with people, and my version of communicating with people, because I do so many things, is ask them what they're into. What do you like? What makes you feel good? What brings you joy? What are you working on? And I tailor me and my response to that person because I'm not gonna word vomit on them and tell them literally everything about myself. If what they care about is XYZ, I'm not gonna start from at A. I'm gonna start at XYZ because I have dimensions as do all of us, and I'm gonna tailor that conversation to you because I'm talking to you. But the person thought I was being shady and being manipulative, where I'm like, I have very many dimensions to myself and I understand XYZ. So I'm going to talk about XYZ. I don't have to talk about ABC through XYZ if
Right.
this person wants to talk about XYZ. So the person saw it, took it as a manipulative tactic, and was like, I can't believe this is the person you've become. You're this what XYZ, da 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 in my DM, sending me these long messages talking about how they used to know me and how we used to sweep floors together and all of this stuff. And I was like, I think you're taking this the wrong way. But I was overthinking it. I was like, oh my gosh, she hates me. She thinks I'm this awful person. I'm gonna take the post down, blah, 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 blah. And I was talking to people that I trust, and they're like, that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard. But that's how this person interpreted it. But,
Mm,
like, this person doesn't get me anymore and sees this 16-year-old version of myself that was cleaning toilets and sweeping floors for her as her employee. It doesn't see me who I am today and didn't interpret the video that I posted the way that it was intended. But that's not my responsibility. And
mm,
I don't have to stop existing because she took it the wrong way. Like,
right. You're saying it exists. Shoot.
I'm gonna exist anyway, and maybe that wasn't for you. Maybe that's not your style, and that's okay.
And
And
you
you don't
can't cater. You can't cater to everybody's perspective or opinion or whatever. So
and
like
that's
people are gonna find offense in where there is no offense to be taken, but they're
a
gonna
lot
find
of
it anyways.
fence. And if you find the fence, just jump over it. But I say all that to say, like, you don't have to as long as you're doing whatever the fuck you want respectfully, then just be and exist and
Yeah,
delete comments, block the people, mute the people that are not rooting for you because they're not for you.
exactly.
And it's hard though. It's
Well,
challenging.
but
It
that's boundaries. I
damn,
don't know.
it is. And boundaries are blurred, I feel like. It just especially as a woman, I feel like we start with no boundaries. At least
Mhm.
in my situation, I feel like I started with no boundaries. And now I'm like, I'm learning from square one. Like, what is a boundary? How do I make them? And I failed a lot. Do you feel the same way? I don't know.
Failing only means progression. Okay. So when you're when it comes to even with social media, I've noticed my screen time going up so much that I'm just gonna start putting limits to it. Your phone can do that. Just in case you didn't know, put a limit to it because I know that's like something we talked about previously as well. That you were just like, I'm spending too much time on social media. I don't want to be, spending all my time here. So, and I'm just the same. Like, I don't want to be spending all my time here. I want to be like outside doing other things. I want to be creative, in other aspects of my life and where I should be actually progressing, besides just what I put on social media. Um, but yeah, like know how to set boundaries even with social media and who you're following. Can cater you you can cater whoever you're following, okay? Just remember that. And somebody's not making you feel good, you can unfollow. Even if it's people from your past like that person, I would have blocked immediately. Like like, that's not me. Like, yes, I'm gonna be respectful. I'm like, I understand your opinion and that's it. But respectfully, I'm not that person. Bye. Like, because who has time to be just having conversations where it's going nowhere with people?
Right.
Honestly, you're just taking life out of me. Like,
Yeah.
and you don't want to do that. And social media paints a picture that everything is gonna be is very pretty and whatnot. But it's not. Let's
Yeah.
be realistic a little bit, just a little bit, because we can be still delulu. But we can be delulu, but understand that you can unfollow whoever is not serving you anymore. Like I don't know. I think every couple months I go through my following, and if there's people that I've DM'd or like that haven't gotten back to me, I go ahead and unfollow because like why are we continuing this invisible string of nothingness. Like
Mhm.
we're not serving each other, clearly.
Right.
But then I see them liking my post, I'm like, it's whatever. But I will follow you because we're not serving each other in a relationship that's healthy because we would be interacting and actually being social on social. So just coming to this understanding that you have the opportunity to set boundaries in the virtual world as well as in the physical world.
I love it. I love it. And it's like it translates because the more I'm challenged with setting boundaries in the real world, in my real relationships, the easier it is for me to set boundaries with social media. And it's a process and it takes time and it takes trial and error. And I love that you said that like failure is progress because that means you're working towards it. And it's like I keep telling like my younger friends who are under the age of 30, like, I can't wait till you turn 30 because I feel like there's, like, a veil that gets removed. I don't know what it is, but everybody I know that, like, before I turned 30 said that to me, they're like, "I can't wait. It's gonna be great." And now I'm saying I'm over here like, "I can't wait till you turn 30, girl, because there's a veil that just comes down." And I think my sister Rachel said it really great. She's like, "They're not paying my bills. They're not gonna work for me." And I was like, "And they're not wiping your ass or feeding you, okay? So, like,
Right.
just like, do what makes you feel good, respectfully, like,
Respectfully.
respectfully,
I didn't
but
say they ain't so people. I just said, you can do this.
exactly, exactly. And it's all about what brings you joy. So if social media is not bringing you joy, stop. If it's not bringing you if the people that you're following are not bringing you joy, stop following them. If the people that you're interacting with in person are not bringing you joy, stop hanging out with them. It's simple, but not easy, and takes time. But I know, and I believe that boundaries can be set with love, respect, and kindness. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm burning this bridge. It could
Mhm,
be, I really am hurt by those things that you said, and I'm respectfully going to excuse myself.
mhm.
Much.
Okay.
Have a wonderful rest of your day. Like, it doesn't have to be mean and it doesn't have to be nasty. It can be kind and it can be full of love for you and the other person. And that creates a lot of really great closure as well.
Okay.
Obviously, social media, it's a little different, like, if you guys are just following and there's no, like, real thing, just
Yeah.
block. But, yeah, I love it. Boundaries are amazing. Okay, what's one piece of advice you would give to our beautiful humans here today?
I would say if you are just looking to start, just follow me for like free resources and like feel free to just shoot a DM because in all honesty, you if you don't start now, you won't start ever. Like
Mm,
you will always have a now, so might as well just do it. I know I'm a planner, so I'm just like always like writing down ideas and do I execute on them? Like me and Amanda were supposed to start a podcast during the COVID. So we didn't. But that's okay. Like everything, look at her now. Like she's starting. Get it.
look at
But yeah, just like there's so many free resources that you can just at least start with. And then find people who specialize in whatever you're looking to do and follow people who are already doing great within whatever you're doing. So then you can just use them as inspiration. Everything on social media is not original. So keep that in mind.
yeah,
Forget imposter syndrome. We were talking about that, but it's okay. Just do it because you never know what's going to come for you because
yeah.
you decided to put yourself out there.
I love it. Oh, so good. I love you so much, Jamie.
Love you too.
Working with your technically difficult. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah. Um, yes. If social media is for you, give it a try. And this goes to everything else in life. Like, if you feel an inkling, just try it. If you feel drawn to it, look into it. If you feel inspired, reach out to someone in life and in social media. So I love this. This has been so beautiful. Where can people find you, book you, do all the things with you, Jamie?
Well, I am going to be tagged obviously on your post or but it's at Prosperous Influence. So that's the page where I do and market myself as a brand. coach and just digital marketer. Um, but you can find all that link in there. I also have a checklist in my link that you can download for free, so you can just start to develop your brand.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. I appreciate you, Jamie. I appreciate all of you watching. Thank you for riding with us. I can't wait to see who we talk to next week. It's going to be so good. In the meantime, get out there, make magic. Let's glow. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.